Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 14 of the 21-day Purpose Challenge. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit under the weather. This does happen to me when I do a Purpose Challenge. That happened last year. So I'll probably be drinking water and taking little spoonfuls of coconut oil because my voice is starting to go. So I just want to, again, honor you for digging into your pain and surfacing the impacts that occur, and the good and bad, but a lot of the bad ones can be like really hard to handle, and so I want to honor you for having the courage to go into them, and joining us and doing this really for yourself, for your purpose, and all the people who are going to benefit from your life of purpose. So, today I want to talk to you a little bit about resistance, because that's really what we're working with here, and that's what 90% of the purpose journey is. It's working with resistance, and it's really the only thing that's present when you're not living your purpose. So, if you're feeling empowered and whether it's in relationship or taking action in your job or a purpose project or inspiring somebody you love, and you're on purpose and you're feeling good, that's great. However, if you're feeling disempowered, or sometimes you feel like there's a wall, like you can't take action, it's too overwhelming. Or oftentimes the word breakdown is used, like where you are in an emotional place where you're broken down, where you don't want to act, you just want to kind of curl up into a ball and do whatever kind of makes you comfortable. For some people that's reading, some people that's like Netflix binging, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's that you're disempowered and you're just kind of going into your little hole, and it's fine. However, it's also not purpose aligned. What also occurs in this space is that there are other symptoms that come up. So, for example, sometimes a symptom will be a thought pattern like, "Oh, I don't need to find my purpose," or "Purpose doesn't exist," or "This program stinks," or "Brandon's full of it," or you know all these different reasons, right? These kind of reasons will be present, like, oh, I can't do this. It's because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. Like suddenly everything about the program, about the exercise, about the teachers is going to start to irritate you. So your skeptic is going to come online and say, time to resist growth. So just know that that's a type of symptom. Another symptom is the perfectionist. Oh, well, since I didn't do the first day, or since I didn't do the second day, or since I missed this, or since this other part of my life isn't perfect, I need to stop everything I'm doing and just not do the purpose challenge and, do work on something else, or, only commit to it when I can really commit to it. So that perfectionist voice will resist doing the challenge. Oftentimes the image consultant will come in and say, well, does this feel authentic? Or, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to send the emails. I don't want to talk to my friends about it. It doesn't feel like it's authentic, or I'll be received well. So the image consultant can sometimes throw up some symptoms that say like, okay, well, therefore, don't take action on your purpose project. Don't reach out to your friends for feedback. And then you might start to hear the voice of, wow, I got all this great data from my vision board and from my perfect day and from my being and talents exercise and from nature. Oh my God, I don't know how to make money. If I keep going down this road, I'm just wasting time. I'm not moving forward on my path of making money and keeping a roof over my head and buying groceries. So the risk manager can say, okay, well, therefore, you got enough out of this challenge, you can quit it. So whatever the reason is, consider that part of it is just completely made up by your ego parts. It's not to say there's not some truth in everything they're saying. There always is. Like this is part of your internal wisdom. It's the significance you're giving to that and saying, okay, well, therefore stop doing the challenge. Therefore stop living my purpose. Therefore, stop moving myself into new territory. So there's lots of strategies, and we're going to begin to do that today with the part 4 of the ego blueprints exercise. We're going to start to name your ego blueprint, your ego parts, start to make agreements with them so that we can create a more cohesive whole going forward. And then tomorrow we'll go into more what to do when resistance actually does come up. But I also am very excited to announce that we've created an amazing list of programs that you're going to have a chance to participate in if you want when this is over, called the Planet Purpose Leadership Academy. And there are two main programs that I think would be perfect for where you're at. One is called the Challenge Plus, and it's a paid program, but what you get is a one-on-one coaching relationship with one of the co-teachers. So, and that allows you to work with that teacher to complete your exercises, to work with resistance, to finishing the challenge. So the goal here is to get you to finish the challenge, so that you have this broad soup to nuts overview of all the pieces of your purpose discovery, and now then you have a plan and a team and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be more on the Planet Purpose Leadership Academy coming soon. The second important program that really need to explore here is the Psi Omega program, and this is a 6-week program that gives you a deeper dive into each one of your ego parts. So we have a fully scrubbed ego part, all 5 of them, so including the wounded child, the one we've left out of the challenge. So you're going to do a deeper dive, and you're going to emerge from that with a fully cataloged kind of psyche. You'll understand all your forms of resistance and all the gifts of every single one of your ego parts. And then with that new space that's created, we're going to do another soul access exercise. So it's a way to kind of work with, spend 5 weeks, blasting through resistance, and then you'll come out with a brand new soul access exercise to harvest new insight about your life's purpose. So today, you're gonna get one of those amazing tools. But I'd like to share with you a little story about how my ego parts came online. So when I started working with my parts, I started to see, subtleties in their personalities. Like my wounded child was very much, an enjoyer. Loved whiskey and drugs and food and women, and he started to resemble actually my grandfather, my dad's dad, who was this kind of prolific womanizer and drinker and gambler, and just kind of like this larger than life party guy. So over time, I just started to call my wounded child Milt, because he was just a guy who was inside of his own pain, who wanted to escape it with carnal pleasures, alcohol, cigarettes, food, girls. And then I started to see that my image consultant was very much like my dad, who's has a very keen eye for what people think about him and what they think about me and everybody else. So I started just to kind of call him Bob, after my dad. And that my risk manager really was my mom, or like the expression of my mom. And although I didn't really kind of feel this presence as a female voice, that was like, my mom's always there to help me think about my financial plan and my strategy, and how I, work backwards for my goals and all that, very risk manager oriented, like, how are you going to make money? All this kind of thing. So I called my risk manager Mr. Safety, because that's kind of my mom's orientation around safety and, providing for yourself and all that. Now my skeptic, he's a total revolutionary. And he is not like this kind of dejected guy who's, back of the class sort of guy. He's this rugged individualist. I mean, he just wants to go back to the land. Like he, distrusts, modernity. He's kind of a cowboy. He wants to farm. He wants to have community. He's kind of John Wayne, who's read a lot of books, basically, and he's pessimistic, but he also just wants to do it himself. So I call him my Marlboro man. And my critic, the critic is, for me, it's like a nuclear reactor. It's like this thing that says, must do it perfectly, must have full integrity in this area, full integrity in that relationship, full integrity. So it's like, it's always pushing me to put more energy into the things that I'm doing, more consciousness, more intention. And so I call him actually Nuclear Nate, because it's just like, super intense, like make sure it's done right, make sure it's perfect. He's kind of like my efficiency consultant in a lot of ways. So today, this is what you're going to get to dive into. You're going to get to come up with your own names for your ego parts and make them personal, and then make agreements with them to go out and live your life's purpose. So we're starting to come into this, more collective understanding of ourself. We've been rooting this understanding of our purpose living in the world. So like purpose and other, purpose and community, purpose and environment, purpose and career, family, etc. So I'd like to share with you a Zulu quote. It goes, Umuntu, Nugumuntu, Nagabantu. And it's a concept in Ubuntu that describes both humanity and being humane as one and the same. And it basically means I am what I am because of who we all are. So I am Brandon with my purpose because of all of us, because of everyone who's come before, everyone who's around me, and everyone who follows after me. It's kind of like the same of, very resonant with you are all that is, was, and ever will be. And it's a Zulu kind of wisdom that's like we are all points in space-time. I am who I am because of who we all are. So Desmond Tutu, I'm going to read a second quote here because he speaks prolifically about this concept. Talks about Ubuntu. And he says, it is the essence of being human. It speaks to the fact that humanity is caught up and is inextricably bound up in yours. That my humanity is bound up in your humanity. He continues, I am a human because I belong. It speaks about wholeness. It speaks about compassion. A person with Ubuntu is welcoming, hospitable, warm, and generous, willing to share. Such people are open and available to others, willing to be vulnerable, affirming of others. They do not feel threatened that others are able and good, for they have a proper self-assurance that comes from knowing that they belong in a greater whole. They know that they are diminished when others are humiliated, diminished when others are oppressed, diminished when others are treated as if they were less than who they are. The quality of Ubuntu gives people resilience, enabling them to survive and emerge still human despite all efforts to dehumanize them. So this is the rich soup that our purpose is in. Like we are who we are because of everyone who's invested in us, and not just our parents, but everyone that came before them. All of cosmic evolution. Actually, we're all riding this cresting wave of cosmic evolution, and we're part of it. And we get to create it. We get to help our friends and family out, and make the world a better place for whoever comes after us on this wave. And much like a wave, we succeed by lifting others up. We follow Ubuntu. We lift each other up. We inspire each other. We give away our gifts. We allow others to be transformed by us. And we are vulnerable and allow them to transform us. We lift each other up on this wave of cosmic evolution. And as you know, the world needs this like no other time in human history. If we do not come together, if we do not give what is within us, we're gonna perish. So this is this kind of new perspective on your purpose that you've got to start to embody. It's who you are as being part of the whole, and what is unique and special about you because of that whole, and also what is your unique contribution to the whole. How are you going to lift the wave and move it forward for everyone else? So it's time, people. It's time to awaken Ubuntu within our own life's purpose and lift each other up. So this is what you're doing today. You're pulling apart your ego parts. You're starting to get to know them, starting to kind of see them as being part of you, seeing your purpose as serving them and them serving you. So you're going to begin to do this with yourself internally and eventually take it out into the world. See you tomorrow.